Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone to another Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Wherever you are, whatever you may be doing, thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd Family part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. Good evening, Kevron. Glad to have you here. As always, and if you jump on here live, just like Kevron just did, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section. Down below, make sure to give the video a like, a thumbs up. If you have not yet subscribed, please do so. And share the video on all social media platforms. Hopefully, everybody had a fantastic, terrific Tuesday. Tonight, my main topic is football, but as always, if anybody comes on here and chimes in and leaves comments throughout the video, I'd be more than glad to respond, as long as it's a real person that's watching the video and commenting as we go, not just some robot or somebody that gets on here and doesn't even watch, just leaves a comment just for the sake of leaving a comment. Hey there, I'm going to hope that's Shio. Glad to have you here, and hello from England. And I'm glad you said that. I always love when people get on here and they let me know that they're watching from other countries, because when you just pop up and it says your name, I have no idea, where you're watching from, no way to know. So when you tell me you're from England, I enjoy hearing that. I've had people from Honduras, Trinidad and Tobago. There's Raul from Russia. Glad to have you here from Russia, Raul. Appreciate you stopping by. And there is a word I'm not going to say, but glad to have you here. And I guess, depending on how you feel, determines whether or not you should go to sleep, because I don't know how long you've been up, what your normal bedtime pattern is, or anything like that. So I guess if you feel tired, maybe you should go to sleep. If not, stay awake a little bit longer. I know I never have been a sleeper, never have been. Matter of fact, I sleep so little that, I get irritated and mad when I take naps, because I don't like naps. I don't like to sleep. To me, there's too much going on in the world that you could be doing besides just laying around and sleeping all the time. Hey there, Zone. Glad to have you here. But if you have not seen Tyreek Hill's injury from last night, I'd advise you to not watch it, because it's gruesome. I mean, it's ugly. And they say that his knee ain't just broke. I mean, it's pretty much just dangling from his leg. And, he's 30 years old now, and, it's natural to already start showing signs of slowing down when you get 30. But then when you have a awful injury like he did last night, if he ever comes back, he's never going to be the same. And you can't blame the guy, because when you have an injury like that, if he does come back, for at least a year, he's going to be, every time he jukes or jives or jumps or twists or turns or anything, thinking, oh no, here we go again. Oh no, here we go again. Hey there, way out. Glad to have you here. And I'm not sure what you mean by what part of South Carolina. I guess you're asking about me, but I'm not in South Carolina, so I guess the answer would be no part of South Carolina. I'm a Clemson fan, but I go to the upstate all the time. As a matter of fact, I have a wrestling show this Saturday in the upstate of South Carolina, but I have never lived in the upstate of South Carolina. Hey there, Darren. Glad to have you here. Hey there, 1981. Glad to have you here. 81 is a good year, because before Dabo came along and won 2 national championships at Clemson, before that, Their only other national championship was in 1981. And Kimberly, glad to have you here from Charlottesville. And George, glad to have you here. And George, I was hoping that Florida State was going to win this past Friday, just so that when they played Miami this upcoming Saturday, you would have had top 5 Miami against more than likely a top 5 Florida State, because they were number 8. So if they would have won, I think they would have cracked the top 5. And it would have been just like the old days of the 90s when both teams were powerhouse, and you'd have had a battle of top 5 teams. Now it's still a battle of ranked teams, but it's no longer top 5 team, because Florida State dropped to number 18, I think. So, George, I'd love to know your prediction on what you think will happen this upcoming Saturday. This past weekend, we had some amazing, amazing football games. This upcoming Saturday, it's kind of like, they're not bad, but there's just not a lot of them that look appealing. And, I wish college football would do a better job of balancing these games out, because, we had week 1 where you just had bukus and bukus and bukus of great football games. And then in week 2, you had 1 or 2. And then this past Saturday, there was a ton of great games all day long. And then this Saturday, there's Miami and Florida State. And that's really about it. I mean, there'll be some, like always, that on paper don't look good, but then they'll actually be good. But I'm just talking about as far as on paper. Outside of Florida State and Miami, there's just not a lot of good games. So I don't understand why college football has a weekend, mainly a Saturday, but there is sometimes good games on Friday. Like this past weekend, you had Virginia, Florida State on Friday, but they have a weekend or a Saturday where you have 15 good games, and then the next week you have 2. I don't think that's supposed to be a power team this year. I think it's important that we just see an improvement from 2-10, which we are. In reality, I think they needed that loss. George, I did a prediction video when, I guess probably, late July, early August, when I was previewing teams. I usually start around April, and I'll do, 1, sometimes 2 videos a week where I just predict teams' record. And then I do between 20 and 25 usually from the time I start to the season starts. I don't do one every day because it's just too hard, especially this day and time. And no, David, I did not go to college, but thank you for asking. I wanted to quit school when I was in 5th grade, so there was no way that I was going to go to college. If it wasn't for girls, I would have quit school in 5th grade. Hey there, Thomas. Glad to have you here. Hey there, Herlin. Glad to have you here. But anyway, George, what I was saying was I did a video on Florida State, and I picked them to go 6-6, which would be a heck of a lot better than they were last year, but still not, a powerhouse. But they're a little bit better than I thought they would be, so I could see them getting to maybe 8, and that's the ceiling. But I don't think they were ever a top 10 team, but I think since they beat Alabama and the media loves Alabama, they got overhyped. They should have never been ranked number 8. But I can see them getting to maybe 8 wins. Hey there, Emily. Glad to have you here. And hey there, Adam. Glad to have you here from Turkey. Well, appreciate you stopping in from Turkey, Adam, and tell your friends, tell your family about the channel. Make sure you give the video a like, a thumbs up. If you have not subscribed, please do so. And Emily, my thoughts on Ohio State is the same thoughts I have on every team, because if you watch this channel long enough, you'll figure out pretty quickly that I don't show favoritism. I don't talk about games and talk about teams and pick winners based on which team I like. I'm completely 100% transparent on every game and every team. But Ohio State has, I still say, the best player in America on offense, the best player in America on defense, and I think they have a really, really, really good chance to win the national championship again. Their offense is not as good as it was last year, but their defense is just as good, if not better than it was last year. So because of that, if they can score 21 points a game, I don't know if they get beat. Unless there's a game where their defense just has a bad game, because I don't think their offense has the ability, at least against a functioning team, to score 45 points this year. But their defense is really, really good. Hey there, Scalia. Glad to have you here. And David, you don't have to go to college to talk about college football. There are millions and millions and millions of people that watch college football that didn't go to college. You don't have to go to college to understand the game of football. That's like saying if you didn't play for the Panthers, you can't watch the Panthers. You don't have to go to college to watch college football. You don't have to go to college to watch basketball. If you understand the game, then whether you went to college or not does not mean a hill of beans. Hey there, Hurling. Glad to have you here. And Scalia, I think that depends on who you talk to and who you ask, because I know people that like college better, but I also know people that like the NFL better. And the people that like college better are going to like college better no matter what. And the people that like the NFL better are going to like the NFL better no matter what. The folks that like college better, you're not going to change their mind. The folks that like the NFL better, you're not going to change their mind. Hey there, Jeff. Glad to have you here from Scotland. But anyway, let's talk about some NFL scores from over the weekend, which includes the two from last night. I know I just made a comment about, Tyreek Hill's injury. And if he ever comes back, he'll never be the same. And David, I'm glad they check in from Turkey. And hey, there's somebody from Bangladesh. I'm not going to attempt to say your name because I will completely butcher it. But glad to have you here. The Seahawks beat the Cardinals 23-20. The Steelers beat the Vikings 24-21. The Falcons, after looking just absolutely horrible against the Panthers, they come back and beat the Commanders 34-27. So the Falcons have been kind of Jekyll and Hyde so far this season. I don't think they're as good as they were against the Commanders, but I don't think they're as bad as they were against the Panthers. I think they're somewhere in between. I think you've got too much free time on your hands, David, if all you can do is come on here and try to bash everybody that has an opinion about everything. Hey there, Ethan. Glad to have you here. The Giants beat the Chargers. The Chargers just lay a complete total egg and lose to the Giants 21-18. The Texans shut out the Titans. I think the Titans are the worst team in the NFL. I mean, they're awful. A lot of people, talked about them getting Cam Ward, and I'm glad they got him, but I don't know that it helped them any, if at all. The Texans beat them 26-0. The Eagles beat the Bucks 31-25. The Bills beat the Saints 31-19. I think this week the Saints play the Giants. That's going to be an awful football game. The Patriots beat the Panthers 42-13. The Lions all over the Browns 34-10. We had the Jaguars win again. They beat the 49ers 26-21. The Rams beat the Colts 27-20. And Hurling, I'm assuming you're asking David that question. The best thing to do is just totally ignore him. He's just somebody in the comment section that's just trying to get a rise out of people and trying to get you to comment. So by asking that question, you're giving him what he wants. So the best advice from me, Hurling, to you would be just totally ignore him. Then we had the Bears pulling out a 1-point win over the Rams, 25-24. The Chiefs beat the Ravens 37-20. Hard to believe that the Ravens are now 1-3, and they're giving up 35 points a game on defense. Their defense just looks absolutely atrocious. I still think they have a pretty good chance to win the division. By the way, Hurling, if this is your first time here, whatever reason made you stop by the channel tonight, thank you for stopping by. And please make sure to give the video a like, a thumbs up. And if you have not subscribed because it's your first time here, please subscribe to the channel and tell your friends, tell your family about the channel. The Packers and the Cowboys tied 40-40. And somebody asked me, I think in yesterday's video, maybe, or it might have been my video late Sunday, what I thought about that game. And I guess it depends on how you look at it, because, you know, the game was very, very, very entertaining, but I hate a tie. I'd rather lose by 30 points than I would tie. I can't stand a tie. Good evening, Austin. Glad to have you here. There's nothing I hate more than a tie, and that's probably the one thing the NFL needs to look at. I know they change it in the playoffs. There's no ties in the playoffs, but even in the regular season, nobody wants to sit and watch a 3.5-hour game end in a tie. Do something to where it's not a tie. Anything. I don't care what you do, but do something to where there's no ties. And then last night, the Dolphins beat the Jets 27-21, and the Broncos beat the Bengals 28-3. And, you know, I thought with the Bengals getting off to a 2-0 start, because, you know, they're usually a slow starting team, they had a chance to do something. But then Burrow got hurt, and it looks like the rest of the team just said, well, we lost Burrow, piss on football, because these last 2 weeks, you know, they haven't just gotten beat. I mean, they have gotten absolutely embarrassed. But any thoughts on any of this, please feel free to let me know. Let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. Ever get an empty fortune cookie? That's unfortunate. And that does it for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of 3. Tell your friends and family how much you love them. Bye.